More than 2,000 years ago, a Greek philosopher told a story about a powerful island civilization, unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. Its people were wealthy. Its cities were magnificent. Its influence stretched across vast regions of the known world. And then, according to the story, it vanished in a single day and night, swallowed by the sea. For centuries, people have searched for Atlantis. Was it a real place? A lost civilization waiting to be discovered? Or simply one of history's greatest myths? Tonight we explore one of the most enduring mysteries of the ancient world. What really happened to Atlantis? Part 1. The Story of Atlantis. The story of Atlantis begins with a man whose writings continue to influence the world more than 2,000 years later. His name was Plato. Around 360 BC, the Greek philosopher introduced Atlantis in two of his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a powerful island nation located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, known today as the Strait of Gibraltar. The island was said to be rich, advanced, and extraordinarily prosperous. Its cities were carefully planned. Its harbors were filled with ships. Its people possessed great wealth and influence. At the center of Atlantis stood a magnificent capital city built around a series of concentric rings of land and water. Temples decorated with gold and precious metals reflected the civilization's immense power. For a time, Atlantis flourished. Its people were intelligent, ambitious, and successful. But according to Plato, prosperity eventually led to arrogance. The Atlanteans became greedy, corrupt, and increasingly obsessed with power. As their moral character declined, the gods grew displeased. Then came the catastrophe. Plato wrote that violent earthquakes and floods struck the island. In a single day and night of misfortune, Atlantis disappeared beneath the sea. The civilization was gone, its cities destroyed, its people lost forever. For centuries, many readers assumed Atlantis was simply a story created by Plato to illustrate a moral lesson. Others believed there might be a real historical event hidden beneath a legend, and that question continues to divide historians, archaeologists, and explorers even today. Was Plato describing a fictional civilization, or was he preserving the memory of a real disaster that occurred thousands of years before his time? To answer that question, we first need to understand why so many people have spent centuries searching for a city that may never have existed at all. Part 2. The Search for Atlantis. If Atlantis truly existed, where was it? For more than 2,000 years, that question has inspired explorers, historians, adventurers, and treasure hunters alike. Some believed Atlantis lay deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Others searched the Mediterranean. Some even proposed locations as distant as Antarctica, South America, or the Caribbean. Over the centuries, countless maps, books, and theories attempted to pinpoint the lost civilization's location. Yet despite all the speculation, no definitive evidence has ever been found. No ruins, no inscriptions, no artifacts that clearly identify Atlantis as a real place. This absence of evidence has led many scholars to believe that Plato never intended Atlantis to be taken literally. Instead, they argue that Atlantis was a philosophical story, a warning about the dangers of pride, greed, and the abuse of power. In Plato's account, Atlantis was not merely a city, it was a lesson, a civilization that achieved extraordinary success before ultimately destroying itself. But not everyone agrees. Some researchers believe Plato may have based his story on a real event, that had been passed down through generations. Ancient cultures often preserve memories of disasters through myths and legends, floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, events so dramatic that they became stories told for centuries. If that happened, Atlantis may not have been entirely fictional. It may have been inspired by a real civilization that experienced a catastrophic destruction. And among all the theories proposed over the years, one stands above the rest. A theory connected to a powerful volcanic eruption that shook the ancient Mediterranean world thousands of years ago. A disaster so immense that some historians believe it may have inspired the legend of Atlantis itself. Part 3. The Santorini Theory. Among the many theories surrounding Atlantis, one has attracted more attention than almost any other: the Santorini theory. Around 1600 BC, a powerful volcanic eruption occurred on the island of Thera, known today as Santorini. It was one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded human history. The explosion was so immense that it reshaped the island itself. Entire sections of land collapsed into the sea. Massive clouds of ash spread across the Mediterranean, and enormous tsunamis swept across nearby coastlines. At the time, the region was home to the Minoans, a highly advanced civilization centered on the island of Crete. The Minoans were skilled sailors, traders, builders, and artists. Their cities were sophisticated, their economy was thriving, and their influence extended across much of the Mediterranean world. Then disaster struck. While the eruption may not have completely destroyed the Minoan civilization overnight, it likely caused widespread devastation. Coastal settlements were damaged, trade routes were disrupted, agricultural land was affected by volcanic ash, and the resulting instability weakened one of the ancient world's most impressive societies. To many researchers, the similarities are striking. An advanced maritime civilization, a sudden catastrophe, cities affected by earthquakes, floods, and destruction, a memory passed down through generations before eventually reaching Plato centuries later. Of course, there are problems with the theory. Plato claimed Atlantis existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, far from the Mediterranean. He also described events that supposedly occurred thousands of years before his own lifetime. The timelines do not perfectly match, the locations do not perfectly match, and no evidence directly connects Atlantis to Santorini. Yet despite these challenges, many historians consider the Santorini theory the most plausible explanation ever proposed. Not because it proves Atlantis existed, but because it demonstrates how real disasters can inspire legends that survive for centuries. A powerful volcanic eruption, a civilization in decline, stories pass from one generation to the next. Perhaps that is how the legend of Atlantis began, but even today the mystery remains unsolved. Part 4. Myth or reality? So, what should we make of Atlantis? After centuries of research, exploration, and debate, the truth is that no one knows for certain. No archaeological discovery has proven that Atlantis existed. No underwater city has been found that matches Plato's description, and no ancient document has confirmed the story beyond Plato's own writings. For many historians, this is enough to conclude that Atlantis was fictional, a philosophical tale designed to teach a lesson about power, ambition, and the consequences of moral decline. Yet the story refuses to disappear. Generation after generation continues to search for answers. Perhaps that is because Atlantis represents something larger than a lost city. It represents one of humanity's oldest questions. How much of the past has been forgotten? Entire civilizations have vanished before. Cities have been buried beneath deserts, hidden beneath jungles, lost beneath the sea. History has repeatedly shown that the ancient world still holds many secrets. And while Atlantis may never be found, the possibility continues to capture the imagination. Because if even a small part of the story is true, then somewhere beneath the waves may lie the remains of a civilization unlike any we have ever discovered. For now, Atlantis remains suspended between history and legend, between fact and fiction, between archaeology and imagination. And perhaps that uncertainty is the very reason why the mystery has survived for more than 2,000 years. More than 2,000 years after Plato first told its story, Atlantis remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Was it a real civilization lost to time, a memory of an ancient catastrophe, or simply a powerful story designed to teach a lesson? The answer may never be known, but perhaps that is exactly why Atlantis continues to fascinate us, because some mysteries are not remembered for being solved. They are remembered because they make us wonder. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Ancient Mysteries Explained. Until next time, this is History After Dark. Good night.